What's up, guys? So in today's video I wanted to go over exactly what you can and cannot do in a free-to-play account for Destiny 2. So far I've put about 25-ish hours into this account just because I wanted to see, like, I always see people talking about how free-to-play is ruining the game and free-to-play players have all these opportunities and you can do all these things on a free-to-play account. Why would I buy the expansion, etc.? And I wanted to see for myself. So I'm going to go over quite a few things here. The first thing I wanted to go over was the locations and the limitations that they have with them. So if you look at my map here, I've got all the main locations. In order to unlock them, I had to do the first mission of each of the areas, right? But once I go there, I can't really do anything. So like, for example, Europa. This is probably one of the biggest things that people talk about. So they say, well, if free-to-play players can go to Europa, what am I paying for? I can go to Europa, and I can even, like I did this Lost Sector here, I can see the the daily rotation for the exotic farm. If I do that Lost Sector, like I haven't done this one and I haven't done this one, but I can't do that because I don't have Destiny Beyond Light, right? I can't get any of the loot from Varix. I don't have access to Stasis at all. The only way I can get any of the new loot is if I come to Cadmus Ridge and I farm the high value target and then loot the chest. That's pretty much the only way I can get anything from here. One that kind of took me by surprise was the Dreaming City. I can go to Petra and I can do the daily drop and get some gear that way, which I'll show you my gear later, what exactly I have accumulated so far. But I can't do the weekly, so I can't do the blind well because I don't have Forsaken. And the same thing kind of goes here, like I can't do like any of the missions, I can't do the dungeon, I can't do the raid. What else we got here? Like I have access to all of Nessus, which was on Destiny's launch, no shock there, you know. Xur right now is at Watcher's Grave. He's selling a pair of bombardiers, which I thought would be crazy because of a free-to-play account. I can make use of those. I have like no exotics right now. I can't get those because I don't have Shadowkeep. All I can get is year 1 stuff. So you're really limited to only year 1 armor. I can do strikes, I can do gambit, I can do crucible. I can even do trials. I got access to trials, but I don't have, I haven't purchased a passage. In order to get into trials, I had to do an entire Valor reset by playing quick play. So I had to hit 2000 and then reset that rank in order to get to this, along with some other stuff. I had to get 50 kills in Elim. It was kind of like an intro to trials, okay? A lot of people talk about, well, if free-to-play players have access to Nightfalls, what are we paying for? They can get access to Grandmasters and all this loot and the Senate shards and whatever. I can do Nightfalls, but only if the Nightfall is a year 1 Nightfall. So for example, right now it's the Glassway Strike. I can't do that because I don't have Beyond Light. If it was a strike that was put out in Shadowkeep or Forsaken or Beyond Light, I can't do any of those. I have to wait until it's only a year 1 Nightfall in order for me to go in there and try to get some materials, which again, it's nice that I can do it because I haven't paid a dime on this account, but there's that limitation. So you're not able to just turn the game on and just instantly jump into all this end game content. I do believe I have access to Iron Banner. Iron Banner's out next week. I'm going to see if I can get into that, which would be a good way to get some gear. What else? The moon, same thing. I can't do the dungeon. It's not even there. I can't do the raid. So it's kind of the same thing for Europa. Like I can go and mess around. I could probably get some loot from here actually. Like the shotgun, the sniper, that's not a bad idea. Maybe I'll go do that later. But that's the location. I can't have stasis. As far as powerful drop opportunities, the only ones I have access to, so I can do the weekly for Zavala, Lord Shaxx, and the Drifter, and then as well as the Gunsmith. So I have those 4. And then I have the Strike playlist, the Nightfall if I can ever do it, if it's a year one. I can do Gambit, and then I have access to all of these. So as far as like powerful rewards, it's actually pretty forgiving, and then I get like the Prime Engram drops and stuff like that. I also have access to the Prophecy Dungeon, which I did, which is a great way to get loot as well. Pretty much anything that comes from Europa that you would get drops, can't do that. So there's like usually like a weekly mission, there's the hunt you can get drops from, and then also down here you can get where is it? Down here you can get a drop as well. So that's, I think, 3 or 4 drops I'm missing out of on the week on top of the raid. Like I can't do the raid, so all those drops as well. So I would say I probably get half the drops that somebody who's bought Beyond Light gets. Next I want to go into what exotics I can get. I kind of already alluded to this, but I can only get things from year 1. So if we look at the armor, here's some of the armor I've unlocked. You know, crazy. I got a Nighthawk, which is really good for PvE. Aeon Swift, and the Ophidia Spaith. I think I'm pronouncing that right. This has actually been the only thing that's helped me in PvP. I don't have anything else. And then if I go over to the little kiosk, here we have the stuff from the Red War. Like I can get all of these, I can buy them, which is pretty good. Like Sturm is crazy right now. Mida's a good gun. Sleepers, okay, since I don't have 1K and all that stuff. You know, some good options here. But I can't get any of these. Like I can't get Thorn, which is my favorite gun, because I don't have Forsaken. So I can't get anything here. I can't get anything here because I don't have Shadowkeep. But so I can get some of these. Now, the caveat is they're all sunset, but theoretically if I had the materials, I could buy Not Forgotten on a free-to-play account, which is kind of hilarious. I'd rather just go earn it instead of spending the shards, but like right now I could buy a Luna's Howl if I wanted to. So, you know, I have access to this stuff, but getting the gear is the hardest part, specifically because if Xur is selling a gun that is anything past year 1, I just straight up can't get it. So like this week he was selling a Merciless and I was able to get that, but I couldn't get the armor. If I wanted to, I could have bought the One-Eyed Mask for the Titan, but I don't plan on making another character because it's a free-to-play account. I can get the exotic ciphers, so I get more drops, and then you get your 2 drops that way, which I guess if you're just trying to get armor in a limited armor pool, that's kind of cool. Like I get Frosties, Stompies, Dragon Shadow, all those things. But that's pretty much it. If we go to the season pass, I'll show you what I've earned so far. So normally this is reversed, okay? Or maybe not. Maybe it actually is like this, I don't know. But you're able to earn the bottom row if you paid for it. I've only been able to earn the top row. So let's see what I've earned so far. Some upgrade mods, some Glimmer, some 48 stat armor, some Eververse engrams, more 48 stat armor, and that's it. If I keep going, so like I would have earned an exotic already, don't have that. I would have got whatever this would have been, bunch of planetary materials, some 52 stat armor, not a huge difference. The shader would have been nice, some cores. I would have got duality instantly, plus a full set of armor and a large XP boost. So there's that. And then if we keep going, at 35 I can finally get the shotgun, which I'm missing out on all of this stuff again. And then you see it really starts to thin out. Like you're still getting stuff every level here. I get a Cypher, some Bright Dust, 1 exotic. So far I think this is the second one. You guys are getting ornaments. Here's another exotic. Here's a shard, exotic, shard. I get a little bit of Bright Dust, which you would get if you had both, right? Another shard, another exotic, and then the ornament. So as far as the season pass goes, it's pretty bare bones. I would say I'm getting like a 4th of all the things that somebody who bought the game would get. And that just kind of adds to the value of, you know, what am I paying for exactly when I buy Beyond Light. So the last thing I wanted to do is go over what gear I currently have and kind of what's in my vault. So let's just go over what I have on my character. So I got the V-Wing, super lucky. It's probably the best gun I have, to be honest. Because the Christmas event is going on right now, I was able to get the Cold Front. Some of the guns from last season were there, and then pretty much anything that's in the current loot pool. So anything that you can get from any of the vendors I'm able to get. The downside is the only hand cannon I have access to right now in the current state of the loot pool is, and I've yet to have one of those drop. Super rare. I got very lucky on my shotgun. It's not perfect, but it's usable. So I'm able to get this. I can't get Mindbenders anymore. I can't get Fellwinters this season. So that's kind of not good. I have the Adored Sniper. I don't have Icarus. All I have is Rampage Spec because he hasn't sold Icarus yet. So this is nice. I mean, if you're a free-to-play player, like, you can get this, and this is a great sniper. Again, normal loot pool drops. I got a pretty good Truth Teller. This is one of the guns that I was able to get from the Dreaming City from the daily bounty, so I just turned that in. I think it was death proof. It just got kills without dying. And then this popped out, so I could definitely use this. It's sunset, but I mean, if I take it into quick play or strikes or whatever, it doesn't matter. And that's pretty much it for guns. I mean, a lot of these are from the Christmas event. I was able to get a Guillotine with Whirlwind Blade, which is super good. And then the rest of this armor, if I'm being honest, is just kind of terrible. Like, you know, it sunsets early. Stats of it, I mean, I've been lucky to get 2 or 3 60 item drops, but it's all like low 50s, high 40s. It's just normal loot pool, like world pool drops, if I'm being honest. These are probably the best gloves that I have. Again, I got the exotic chest armor for the hunter, so I get 2 throwing knives, so that's been cool. And that's it. I mean, if I get, like, this is the best thing I have. It's 66 right now because I have a minor mod on, but these are really 62s, and I got this just from playing some Gambit. So these are pretty good, and they don't sunset. So I'm just trying to show that it's like really hard to get armor that doesn't sunset soon. And then if we could look at the supers, like, I don't have Blade Barrage because I don't have any of the expansions. I don't have Spectral Blades, which is probably the best non-stasis hunter super. And I don't have Middle Tree Arc Strider. But I have the other ones. I have what launched with the Destiny vanilla game. The last thing I wanted to touch on is upgrade materials. So if you look, I have 1 shard, I have 15 prisms. Now I'd say half of those prisms and the shard for sure came from the Christmas event. That's the only reason I have those. Just by opening packages throughout leveling that up, I've been gifted some stuff. So that's just baking cookies, right? The only way I can get a shard right now is if I get enough prisms to come over to Banshee, and I have to buy one. Now the downside of buying one is I need the materials, which a brand new account doesn't really have, but I have the prisms and the glimmer, which is not a big deal, whatever. But because I can't farm the Nightfall, I have no access to prisms. So the way shards, I mean, the way I've been getting prisms is on the Ghost. I have it set up where if I get Precision Final Blows and Crucible, I have a chance to getting an enhancement prism. And I would say the drop rate is maybe every other game I get 1 if I'm landing headshots. And I probably get, I don't know, a handful of headshots a game. It's not like I'm getting like 1 or 2 headshots and the rest are body shots. So, you know, a step in the right direction as far as like me being able to earn loot, but until it's a Nightfall that I can regularly farm, I can't really get anything to masterwork gear, and I wouldn't want to masterwork any of this stuff anyway because it's terrible. Like, I have 9 mobility and everything else is just terrible because all I have is the mobility mod and the resilience mod. I don't even have a recovery mod yet. So just to put it in perspective, like, I don't have Icarus, I don't have any of these things that a lot of people just kind of take for granted because you've had them for so long. The account's only 25 hours in. So in theory, I could play this account, grind forever, get a bunch of prisms to get shards, to level up armor that I would hope drops at a high stat, and then it would sunset, which I could take this into trials, and then I guess do my best in trials with a limited loot pool and a shotgun that's not the best. So to bring this all back, you know, I originally went into this because I wanted to know for myself, like, what all can a free-to-play player do in Destiny. And overall, I would say you can do a lot. If you're new to the game, if you're a veteran to the game, like I am on my normal account, you kind of feel very limited. You can't do anything. Like if this person was to join with some friends who've been playing, the chances of them being able to do anything other than PvP, super slim. Like you can do Gambit, PvP, and strikes. That's kind of it. Which is most of the game anyway, so just depends on how you look at that. When I was doing this, almost every time I did anything, the big, hey, buy the expansion banner would pop up in my face, looking like this. I got this probably a dozen times, just playing and messing around, whatever I would do. So, from a business standpoint, I think Bungie's doing a good job at having people get into the game, just kind of get a taste of what you can do, see what you are unable to do, and kind of incentivize that player to be like, hey, this expansion is only, you know, however much money, maybe it's worth it, then I could get all this cool loot and whatever. If you wanted to remain free to play, you can, which I think is a good option in a sense, because if you retain those people for the long haul, then the chances of them buying something down the road, whether it be like an ornament or whatever, goes up, which just means money for Bungie. So I don't necessarily feel like a free-to-play player base is ruining the game for everybody who bought the expansion. You can do a lot, but you can't do, I would say, at least half of the content that's in the game right now. The final thing I want to talk about, I can't get a sparrow. I've been going around with this little 140. It's like I might as well just run. I don't know. I gotta buy a sparrow when it goes into the Eververse store, I guess. But overall, you know, I think it's a good experience. I feel like if you bought the expansion, you're still getting what it's worth. And you know, I would like to hear what you guys think below. Given everything I've showed you, has this opened your eyes to anything? And just kind of going forward, maybe you'll have a different perspective on the limitations that this account has. I think I'll keep this account going. You know, I'm not going to play this full time, obviously, but, you know, I would like to get, you know, some type of serviceable armor and maybe a hand cannon, which, by the way, this guy slaps. I don't know. It's a 140. Give it a try. You know, just kind of mess around. It's, for a free-to-play account, this thing has been my godsend. Like, thank the Lord for this gun. Anyway. Let me know what you guys think down below. I hope to hear you guys, your thoughts and kind of where you stand on all this. And hopefully I see you guys in the next one. Thank you for stopping by. Peace.